And how is it playing like Alfred Pennyworth? Because he's one of like the most famous supporting characters in comics. So what is it like to kind of build the man before the butler?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's strange because obviously we've always seen him kind of stiff upper lip, straight guy, and this Alfred's got swag. You know, he's Bruno's script was great, and that was my Bible. I started with that, and he had some great ideas. And we sat down and spoke about, the great thing about when it's a first season like this, you're creating a whole world. So it's 1960s London, yes, but it's a DC 60s London. It's 13 degrees weirder and darker and macabre and strange. But also we're creating, the look, the clothes, the physicality, the sound, so the accent, was a nod to Michael Caine because he's the one who came up with the SAS background, or pushed it properly in the Nolan film. So it's been a blast, really, filling in the gaps.
So you mentioned Michael Caine as kind of an inspiration. Are there other adaptations or any other comic books or series that have kind of influenced your interpretation of a young Alfred?
That's a good question. Lots of different films and stuff from that era, and Michael Caine, yes, he played Alfred, but also he was like the film star of like the 60s. So he encapsulated that, so that's why it lent itself perfectly to it. But as I say, my starting point always is the script and learning your lines and all the boring stuff like that, really. But I immersed myself. Danny made a Pennyworth playlist on Spotify, so we were kind of listening to that, and everyone was sort of getting in the zone that way. Yeah.
What's on the Pennyworth playlist?
Oh, I can't remember now. The thing was, I thought it was going to be loads of 60s stuff, but then because we have the license to go wherever, there'll be modern day stuff and strange bits. But it's it's good. It's on there somewhere.
With so many different actors already portraying the character, what mark do you hope to leave on it?
I just want people to watch it, to be honest. I don't know about leaving a mark, but it's a daunting list to join for sure. But the way I processed it in my head, I was like, you're fine, because even though they shot all their stuff years before and it's been on and people have loved it, technically you're before them, so they're following me, not I'm following them. That's how I do it in my head, which makes no sense, but that enabled me to go to work without losing my mind.
How is the interaction between Alfred and Thomas Wayne? Because they're kind of business partners.
Right.
So are they going more down that road? But there's a friendship there. How are they interacting?
Well, it's a by chance meeting really that throws them together. Thomas's sister is in the nightclub where Alfred works, and he comes to get her. So the exciting thing is maybe asking the question of what if that didn't happen? None of this whole thing would have happened. But there he is. But their relationship in the first season, they're not mates really. Alfred doesn't really like him to begin with, but they're kind of thrown together. I always saw it as like two tigers circling each other. There's a mutual intrigue. They're scoping each other out, and Alfred. They both possess something that the other needs. So Thomas has money and status and all these things that Alfred, as a lowly doorman or bouncer at this time, needs to get his business off the ground and get away from that. And Ben hates it when I say this, but Thomas is a wimp, so he needs Alfred's army skills to save the day, really. So as much as they're trying to get away from each other, they're constantly drawn back together. But Alfred does have a respect for him, when the shit hits the fan, per se. He's also a very moral guy, and that's something they share.
Were you a fan of the Batman movies or television shows or comics growing up?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was a bit young for the Tim Burton ones, so my ones really were the Christopher Nolan ones in recent years, and of course that was Michael Caine, and and that kind of thing. But yeah.
So, as an actor, how is to go to a universe that has such a big fan base, but you also have the chance to tell the story from another perspective?
Yeah, it's great because, you know, it has the existing IP of Batman, but what we're doing, you know, you could almost watch this show. You can definitely watch this show even if you know nothing about Batman. It's kind of a character-driven drama, and you know, we've just nicked characters from the canon, but it's fantastic because we have free reign. We can rewrite history. We can change anything. So we're just having fun, mucking about.
I've seen like the pilot. In the pilot, there's a lot of war flashback imagery. So how does his war background in those flashbacks, how will that play into the season?
Well, it's a massive part, and we sort of examine the post-traumatic, what we now would call PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, but in the 60s wasn't really diagnosed. But that is such a huge part of Alfred, and as the series goes on, it kind of becomes a bigger and bigger thing, to the point where it almost completely overtakes him and derails him. So watch out for that. That was a lot of fun. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you all.